Juan Hielo, a.k.a. Lil Scrappy. Gang, Juaritos Maravilla. Soldier. Arrested for Grand Theft Auto. Drug of choice, cocaine. Age, 16. This is how the court saw Juan, but anyone that spends just a little bit of time talking with the teen would tell you that there's a lot more to him than his list of criminal charges. Like the fact that he loves sports, Halloween's his favorite holiday, he has a little brother that looks like a miniature clone of him, and when he grows up, he wants to join the fire department, and the military, and the UFC. 8 years ago, I was hired for Youth Development Inc.'s Teatro Consejo, or Theater of Council program. I was shocked during the interview to discover that a large percentage of the program's teens were active gang members. I was even more shocked when I was offered the position. I mean, how could someone like me, a skinny cracker from the Northeast Heights, possibly relate to some of Berkeley's roughest gangstas? Oh. Oh. I'm still a cracker. Juan was the first client I clicked with. He was wearing a Raiders jersey, which was about 2 sizes too big. So I used the opportunity to insult the Raiders, hoping to get a laugh, or at the very least, not get stabbed. Yo, man, that's a big Raiders jersey you got on there. Do they make Raiders jerseys extra big to overcompensate for their lack of Super Bowl rings? Juan adjusted his jersey, reached into his pants, and pulled out a Glock 22, which he jammed straight into my temple. No, just kidding. That happened. Thank God. Instead, Lil Scrappy just kind of laughed and proceeded to make up lies about how the Raiders are so much better than the Cowboys. It was at that point that I realized that even though I've had a very different childhood than Juan and most of the other teens I'd be working with, I could still find at least one thing I had in common with each of them. And humor would be the bridge to lead me to those commonalities. Our program works throughout the city at juvenile detention centers, schools, and community centers. And we also hold pro-social activities at our youth center. Each night, teens from a variety of different hoods and rival gangs show up to what was once an abandoned warehouse, but has since been completely remodeled to a full youth center with a stage, sound system, recording studio, and wall-to-wall murals designed by former staff and clients. The space screams creativity, and we get a ton of that creativity out of the teens, but not always right away. See, usually when the kids show up, they like to walk around with their chest puffed out and their rock-hard faces daring you to try to get them to crack a smile. Machismo oozes from their pores as everyone wants everyone else to know that they are the toughest one in the room. Now, at first I found this room full of bravado comical, but once I realized that these kids wore their masks day in and day out, it quickly became my mission to break their outer shells and get them to laugh and play and be kids, so that they wouldn't look back and regret letting their youth pass them by. But how could I possibly tear down the walls built up around them by a lifetime of negative social programming? I felt like there had to be some way, some secret shortcut to transform them from a room full of thugs slanging drugs to a crew full of thugs sharing hugs. I thought of that. But how? How could I do it? Then it hit me. Get them pregnant. Yeah. Oh, no, I wouldn't get them pregnant. I'd have them role play that they were pregnant. Because I felt like if Juan was carrying an unborn baby in his belly, he'd be a lot less likely to steal another car. The New Mexico Teen Pregnancy Coalition was having a video contest, challenging youth to make a public service announcement. Juan jumped at the opportunity to be the star. So I waited until he agreed to act in the film before I told him what being the star would actually entail. Now, Juan was hesitant at first, but the more attention he got, the more deep into character he became. The movie ended with Juan going into full-on labor and giving birth to a baby boy. A beautiful baby boy. Juan showed up at the office early the next day. Yo, man, you didn't show the staff the video, did you? Yo, don't show them. All right, yo, you should show them. He loved the attention. The video ended up winning the contest, and each of the teens involved got $200 for their participation. But that wasn't the coolest part. The coolest part was seeing how excited they were about what they had just created. Next week at school, instead of bragging about the building they tagged up or the rival gang member they got in a fight with, they'd be showing off the funny video they made instead. Emmy Award-winning actor Alan Alda once said, "When people are laughing, they generally aren't killing each other." The more I work with these teens, these gangstas, the more that quote rings true. Because when they're laughing, they don't have time to mad dog each other or talk about their beef on the street. I feel like if everybody could see these teens joke and play and laugh, they'd be a lot less likely to label them as thugs that just need to be swept off the street and locked up behind bars, and perhaps as human beings that are going through things that many of us can't even imagine. And with a little help and support from a positive adult role model, they have the possibility to realize their full potential. Like Juan, high school graduate, big brother, youth program volunteer, age 25. But gangstas, I did that to make you think it was the end, so when I do the real end, I'll get that again. I'm like, yeah. Gangstas aren't the only ones that walk around wearing a mask. Chances are, even if you don't feel the need to puff out your chest and mad dog the world, many of us don't laugh enough. Why? Life's funny, and the more humor you can find in things, especially those really hard, painful things, the more you can laugh at yourself and at life around you. So stop taking everything so seriously. Let yourself be a kid, and every chance you get, laugh like a gangsta.